We are the winds of Alberta's past. Some call us Mother Earth's voices. We help people remember the good times. We help people remember their childhood. We help people remember their loved ones. We help people remember what they have forgotten.
The memory wind saw a farm with the windmill getting water. Chickens were laying eggs and cows were in the fields grazing. There were healthy wheat crops as high as a farmer's chest. Outside helping was a big farm of 8 children.
We need a windmill to pump the water. The streams are drying up. I'm 13 years old. I can help you build it, Grandpa.
Ha, I raised my grandson well. The rest of you kids go finish Robert's chores.
That's my boy. Let's get the blades ready. Get the blueprint out.
The circular wheel had blades that spread from the center outward. The blades cut the wind. The center of the wheel was connected to one end of a shaft.
When the blades harnessed the wind of the windmill, the kinetic energy of the wind rotated the blades continuously.
That made the crank, which was attached to the blades of the windmill, also rotate.
That resulted in up and down movement of the piston rod. The piston rod pushed the piston of the water pump up and down and lifted the underground water.
The windmill began to work. Robert saw his mom next to it. She felt relieved. The crops would grow now.
Time passed. Now it was 1930 in Alberta. The farm was dry. The wheat fields were dying. A brisk wind brought up the dust. It was a blazing hot wind that flew through the farm. The colors were dull and fading, but the memory wind was still there.
We felt like the land.
We felt like we were disappearing.
We felt hopeless. When someone leaves the land and chooses to forget,
That is a part of us.
we, the memory winds, begin to fade away.
The family couldn't afford to live there anymore. They were packing up. Robert's mother and father were leaving to go east with Robert and his siblings. Grandma and Grandpa were going to stay with relatives. Horses dragged to the grandparents' car. They didn't have enough money to buy gas. They all took one last look.
I'm going to miss this place. Grandma, are you all right?
It's too hard to let go.
She's going to be fine, boy. But, Father, she's upset.
Why does this have to happen?
Mom, can't we stay? We have to go somewhere to make money.
We saw their sad faces that day. We heard the creaking windmill.
It was beginning to rust. It was scratched.
We promised we would keep the memories alive if they chose to try and remember.
One day we hoped that one of them would come back.
In the small town nearby, people were packing up and leaving too. Some left quickly. They were desperate. There was no point staying. No one could live on this particular land anymore.
A few years went by. The memory winds missed the family that had left. A young man was on the train from Ontario. It was Robert. He was almost 16. He was a stowaway heading west. He had to get back to the farm.
Windstorm. The train stopped. It couldn't go any further. Robert got off. It was evening in late August. The alto-cumulus clouds had been really hot that day. The sky was completely filled with dark gray cumulonimbus clouds. They produced rain and thunder.
We were grateful for the storm.
We were there, but softly, like a faint breeze.
We sounded like a sigh, like a whisper.
We were weak. So many people have forgotten their past.
Robert looked around. It seemed like a ghost town to him. There were 10 people left. He got off the train platform. A sick dog jumped in front of him. He had rabies. The dog chased him along the boardwalk of the town.
He looked back, and there was foam in its mouth. He found a middle board and a fence missing and jumped through. The dog stopped. On the other side, there was a house with one light on. He walked toward it. The door opened.
Outside, it was now 2 degrees Celsius. The lights flickered inside the house. He saw a fire burning in the fireplace. There was a kettle whistling. The coals in the fire were still red.
He saw the dog that chased him in the doorway. He grabbed a rock. He thought he heard something say hello. There were quick steps on the staircase. He threw the stone. The dog lunged. The dog dropped. A 12-year-old girl stood at the top of the stairs holding the gun.
You saved my life.
Get inside!
The other winds came in from the south. They turned like a zigzag. They moved quickly. They tossed and turned like a raging bull. The memory winds couldn't stop them. Now more winds were picking up speed and moving faster. The northerlies mixed with the south. It was devastating to see.
Something pushed them towards the basement. The two hid there. It was a cellar with a dirt floor. They shivered. The dirt scraped the side of the house as the wind picked it up. It was the topsoil from the farms.
My name is Robert.
I had a brother once. His name was Robert, too. There was a blizzard on the farm. The rope from the barn to the house broke. He got lost going to the barn to milk the cows. My name is Olivia.
They flinched at the same time.
That window was always shaky. I expected it to break at any minute. It's the window from upstairs. We are all right.
Is this your house?
No.
I want to find my grandparents' farm.
What's your last name?
Barnes.
I know where it is. My farm was beside the Barnes place. Our farm didn't work out, so we tried to set up a restaurant in town. My parents passed away.
What from?
Tuberculosis. I had to go live with my grandma, but I ran away. She wasn't nice.
Robert explained that he felt he was destined to come. His grandfather had owned the land, but his family had to move. His father worked in a factory back east. His grandparents had died. They heard the wind slowly fade. It was midnight.
I'll take you to your room.
Robert was afraid as he walked up the steep staircase. It wasn't supported in the middle. When they got to his room, old boards were nailed to the window. The bed was old but neatly arranged. He opened a closet. There were guns inside, a .22 and a pistol.
Are these loaded?
Yes, the room was left this way. The people who lived here didn't know they were going to have to abandon it, I guess.
And now, a word from our sponsor. I need some new soup!
Miss having a good selection of it?
Yes!
The Heinzer soup will cure all flu viruses as well as you eating it for your own comfort.
I'm going to get some today.
Come on down to the soup store and buy the most delicious canned soup in the world.
Hey, it's Mr. Happy Bar. Have we met? If you're in a need to eat, choose Mr. Happy Bar.
I have a problem.
What's that?
I ran out of toothpaste.
Well, you have to buy licorice toothpaste. It just cleans your little teeth and it tastes so great. Find it at your local store today.
Melio Mellow, tasty gelatin. The best food in the world. Don't miss getting it. Yummy.
Tired of your old milk?
Uh-huh.
Well, you came in for a surprise. Try our new, delectable Alberta dairy milk. Well, go on. It's in the milk store. So try it. You'll have a great time.
We'll go buy it today.
Tired of your old gum?
Yes!
Well, Nichols Mint Gum is the best gum around these parts. The taste will never stop, so you can chew all day long. Are you bored of your old chocolate bar? Well, you should buy Yummy Fingers. It's very nutritious and delicious. Buy Yummy Fingers.
Yummy!
Bubble, bubble, bubble. Come get your triple bubble cup pipe that gives you 3 bubbles. Impress your friends and family when you puff it. It is rated #1 in the world and is very comfortable and nice, and it will last you a long time. Bubble, bubble, bubble. Come get your triple cup bubble blower today.
Are your kids stinky?
Yes, they are.
Then you're in need of the Brindle's Family Health Soap. It works in seconds to wash those grimy hands.
Now I'm going to the store to get your soap.
Be sure to buy the Brindle's Family Health Soap.
Are you hungry? Don't have time for breakfast?
Yes, I am.
Then how about eating a delicious bowl of Adrian cornflakes? Remember, Adrian cornflakes never get soggy in milk. Remember, buy Adrian cornflakes.
And now, back to our feature presentation. The next morning, Robert awoke to the clicking of grasshoppers. He was startled. He ran to the nearest window and saw billions of grasshoppers storming the land. He could see them bouncing and eating whatever they could find. It took a few minutes, and then they were gone. Olivia wasn't there. It was the sound of a .22. Robert ran downstairs. Olivia returned with a dead rabbit.
Want breakfast?
Maybe I should go to a hotel.
Chicken.
Do you have any?
By mid-morning, they were headed down to his family's farm walking. The north wind was back. It was strong. Altostratus clouds full of ice crystals were in the sky. A storm was coming. Snow in August? It sure felt like it.
Here it is.
The crops were desiccated. The wood was rotting on the falling down barn. The red paint had faded, but the memory winds were there.
We brushed past Robert's face and made him remember.
This was our last chance. We were shutting down.
This land had been forgotten by most of his family.
We were going to disappear.
But Robert started to have a memory.
He was on the farm. It felt normal to him. It felt familiar.
Grandma, I'm over here.
Supper's ready. Where were you?
The cows are milked.
When I was a little girl, I loved milking the cows. Your uncle, my younger brother, looks a lot like you. He was always with me. Anyways, one day we went to the barn. I had just finished milking and the bucket was full. Suddenly, a lynx bolted from the rafters. My little brother screamed and ran behind me. I took my father's gun hanging from a shelf and shot at it. I missed, hit the bucket, and milk was flying everywhere. The lynx was scared away, and my little brother ran to tell my mother what had happened. The next day, my father gave me my own gun.
What a story. Tell me more.
Perhaps another time. Come on inside. Everyone's waiting and supper's getting cold. You're old enough to eat with the grown-ups now. Tell your brothers and sisters to stay close near the house. They've already been fed.
My grandson is gonna make a great farmer one day. Do you really think so, Grandpa?
Of course you will. Here, have some mashed potatoes. You earned it.
Farming can be hard. Things don't always go your way. I never want to leave, Father.
The sky's dark. Twister! Robert, help me grab the kit and get to the cellar.
The memory winds brushed across his face once more. Robert's memory was over, but he looked up into the sky and saw the exact same storm that he had seen from his past.
Twister! There's the house! It's still standing. Let's go!
Inside the house, the wood floors creaked and there was dust everywhere. Nearby, Robert saw old photographs on the wall, books on shelves, and picture albums. His grandmother's garden gloves were on the dinner table beside a toy wooden train. The wind was moaning.
That's my train!
The door shut. Blackout! The doorway caved in and they couldn't get out. They couldn't get to the cellar. Another door slammed. Olivia grabbed her pistol from her pocket. There was a faint light in the doorway. The toy train moved by itself. They heard a chair fall over at the dinner table. A rush of cold wind blew in. A song started to play from a radio.
The light shone behind Grandma's bedroom. There was a beam of light on top of the drawers. A deed for the land was there. Olivia couldn't read. Robert could. The land had been given to him. The twister ripped off the house from its foundation.
There was a deathly silence. The air was cold and heavy. It was moist. Olivia felt a stinging pain from her leg. She couldn't lift it. Part of the table was on her leg. Her leg felt broken.
Robert had been flung. He was under a pile of roof tiles close to her. He wasn't moving, but she could see him. He had passed out. She struggled and dragged her leg, and she pulled with her arms forward.
Wake up. This is your land. You can't just leave it. You own it. It's all yours. We're in this together. You're gonna be all right. The windmill began to turn, and water was being pumped out.
The memory winds felt a surge of power and lifted the boards off of Robert.
Olivia's legs stopped hurting.
She stood up.
Under the rubble, they found an old photograph of his grandmother.
A drop of water fell from the sky and landed right on her picture. It looked as if there was a tear falling from his grandmother's cheek.
I promise to remember you forever. I will never sell this land.